Being with only one man in old Hollywood was often seen as virtuous, but some iconic beauties were rebellious by nature. They refused to be confined to one relationship. They enjoyed their freedom and weren't afraid to explore love on their own terms. So who were these daring women, and how many men did they love along the way? Let's dive into their stories in detail. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was often described as possessing an enchanting beauty that could stop anyone in their tracks. Rising from a humble upbringing in North Carolina, she quickly gained attention for her stunning features and magnetic screen presence. Before long, she was discovered by Hollywood scouts who recognized her potential for stardom. Yet behind the camera's glow lay a private life brimming with passionate encounters and the kind of entanglements that made gossip columnists salivate. Ava's relationships were often as fiery as her unforgettable performances, and she was never timid about following her impulses, no matter who was watching. A free spirit in every sense, she refused to be constrained by the era's expectations, boldly carving out a path where she answered to no one but herself. Her marriage to the brilliant but volatile Frank Sinatra remains a Hollywood legend, filled with intense emotions that swung from dizzying highs to heartbreaking lows. Many whispered that her allure snared the hearts of other prominent men, fueling speculation about affairs with influential figures who were drawn to her vivacity and sensual confidence. While her personal life lit up the tabloids, Ava was never one to apologize for her choices. She approached romance with the same fearlessness she brought to her roles, unafraid to love deeply, argue loudly, and walk away decisively. In a period when actresses were often molded by studio expectations, Ava Gardner broke the mold. She reveled in her independence, embraced her desires, and left behind a legacy as a woman who lived fervently, on her own uncompromising terms. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield was the kind of star who commanded attention the moment she swept into a room. Renowned for her voluptuous figure and captivating smile, she quickly rose to prominence in the 1950s with comedic roles showcasing her effervescent charm. Off-screen, she was just as enticing, earning whispers about her insatiable appetite for excitement and a private life filled with rumored escapades. Gossip followed Mansfield wherever she went, painting vivid tales of clandestine dalliances that kept her name constantly in circulation. Some stories even linked her to President John F. Kennedy, suggesting their alleged affair was yet another glamorous notch on her well-populated belt of admirers. In spite of the swirling rumors and occasional backlash from fellow actresses, Jayne rarely let public opinion shape her behavior. She was unapologetically bold, flaunting revealing outfits that left audiences, and sometimes co-stars, wide-eyed. One iconic moment, immortalized in a photograph with Sophia Loren, captured Sophia's disapproving gaze directed at Jayne's daring neckline. Yet Mansfield showed no concern for disapproval, priding herself on living for her own amusement rather than conforming to polite expectations. Beyond the sensational headlines, she had genuine talent and starred in memorable films, including The Girl Can't Help It, demonstrating a knack for comedic timing that complemented her sex symbol status. Although her life was cut tragically short, Jayne Mansfield's indomitable spirit left an enduring impression on Hollywood. Even now, people remain fascinated by her blend of unbridled personal freedom and gleaming movie star glow. Lana Turner. Lana Turner was famously discovered sipping a soda at a malt shop, an origin story that quickly made headlines and elevated her to dreamlike status in Tinseltown. She took on roles highlighting her sultry presence, and soon enough, America was enthralled by her combination of angelic face and simmering sensuality. But her ascent to stardom also carried with it a parade of romantic entanglements, each one seemingly more dramatic than the last. From famed bandleaders to Hollywood hotshots, her little black book reportedly bristled with big names who found her irresistible. Lana's personal life soon became fodder for every tabloid, as it seemed she had a knack for encountering passion, no matter where she turned. While her on-screen roles in films like The Postman Always Rings Twice cemented her reputation as a top-tier star, her off-screen escapades occasionally overshadowed her professional accomplishments. She fell in love easily, loved fiercely, and moved on when the sparks cooled, never shying away from the next hopeful romance. This pattern earned her a reputation as both alluring and dangerous to the men who crossed her path. Most infamously, the stabbing of her lover, Johnny Stompanato, by her daughter Cheryl shook Hollywood to its core, creating a scandal that lingered for years. Still, Lana maintained a certain mystique that refused to crumble under public scrutiny. In an era dominated by carefully curated studio images, Lana Turner remained refreshingly, if tumultuously, herself, a blend of glamour, passion, and personal upheaval that continues to captivate cinephiles and gossip lovers alike. Dors. Diana Dors brimmed with rebellious energy that put her in a class apart from conventional starlets. Hailing from Swindon, England, she was sometimes compared to Marilyn Monroe for her blonde bombshell look, but Diana carved a niche all her own. Early in her career, she exuded a bold self-assurance that dazzled casting directors, paving her way into Hollywood with a flourish. Beyond her recognizable curves and unforgettable presence, she was known for throwing legendary parties that would set tongues wagging. Whispers flew about escapades at her mansion, igniting speculation that the gatherings were far from tame. Yet more than the wild gatherings, Diana's love life fueled endless chatter. She seemed to relish juggling multiple admirers and never hesitated to speak her mind. Critics and moral authorities might have disapproved, dismissing her as a cautionary tale of celebrity excess, but Diana appeared unfazed by their judgments. Her affairs ranged from intense but fleeting rendezvous to full-blown, high-profile romances that filled gossip columns with tantalizing tidbits. Even the Archbishop of Canterbury famously denounced her as a wayward hussy, a stark condemnation that did nothing to deter her. She matched her libertine spirit with genuine talent, appearing in numerous films and maintaining a dedicated fan base. Diana Dors ultimately epitomized living without inhibitions, indulging in excitement, and forging her own path in an industry keen to pigeonhole women. Whether applauded or scorned, she remained a liberated soul whose energy remains unforgettable in the annals of classic Hollywood lore. Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth was widely hailed as one of Hollywood's most dazzling redheads, famously dubbed the Love Goddess for her captivating looks and undeniable magnetism. Born Margarita Carmen Cancino, she underwent a transformation that involved changing her hairline and adopting a more Anglo-sounding name, all with the backing of studio executives who recognized her star potential. With her mesmerizing performance in Gilda, she proved capable of commanding the screen, captivating audiences with a blend of glamour and vulnerability. Yet behind that polished facade, Rita's personal life revealed turbulence, heartbreak, and a string of romances that burned bright and fast. Off-screen, Rita struggled to find the stable love that consistently eluded her grasp. She married 5 times, each union echoing with grand hopes and eventually dissolving into regret. Orson Welles, a titan of cinema, became one of her most notable husbands. Together, they formed a short-lived, passionate bond that ended as abruptly as it began. Her subsequent marriage to Prince Ali Khan cast her as Hollywood royalty, who briefly crossed over into real-life nobility. Despite these high-profile unions, Rita's search for lasting happiness lingered on. Gossip columnists eagerly documented each new romance, convinced her timeless beauty left men powerless to resist. But in the hush of her private life, Rita wrestled with insecurities that fueled a cycle of tumultuous relationships. Her story underscores the bittersweet nature of stardom, where breathtaking glamour often conceals deep anxieties. Even as personal sorrows weighed on her, Rita Hayworth's enduring allure remains an integral part of Hollywood's golden history. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor possessed an allure that transcended mere beauty. Known for her stunning violet eyes and magnetic performances, she left her mark on iconic films like Cleopatra and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Off the silver screen, Elizabeth's real-life dramas frequently stole the spotlight. With 7 marriages in her wake, she earned a reputation for unapologetic romantic exploration. Gossip columns reveled in her notorious love triangle when she purportedly took Eddie Fisher from her close friend Debbie Reynolds. This uproar underscored her boldness in pursuing what she desired, even if public opinion bristled at her choices. But Elizabeth wasn't merely a tabloid fixture. Her screen successes were legendary. She commanded roles that showcased the range of her talent, from epic historical dramas to biting domestic narratives. While critics marveled at her ability, fans were equally enthralled by her personal entanglements, none more so than her on-again, off-again relationship with Richard Burton. Their partnership proved so dynamic they wed and divorced twice, making headlines with every twist. The Vatican once described one of her affairs as erotic vagrancy, underscoring how even revered institutions weighed in on her scandalous storylines. Despite the ceaseless chatter, she remained defiant in her approach to love and life. Elizabeth lived on her terms, refusing to apologize for her passionate nature or repeated ventures into matrimony. Ultimately, she stood as a powerhouse in both Hollywood creativity and tabloid sensation, forever remembered for her spirited pursuit of grand romances and exceptional artistic triumphs. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow, famously dubbed the blonde bombshell, embodied a brash new style of Hollywood stardom in the early 1930s. Born Harlan Carpenter, she soared to fame with a sultry persona that redefined glamour for Depression-era audiences longing for escapism. Films like Red Dust and Dinner at 8 saw her skillful blend of humor and allure, transforming her into one of MGM's highest-grossing talents. Beneath the platinum hair, however, rumors swirled of romantic intrigues that rivaled any drama on screen. Harlow was rumored to have entangled herself in multiple affairs, generating a swirl of speculation among fans and peers alike. Her private life took a dark turn when she married producer Paul Byrne, a union plagued by mysterious circumstances and culminating in tragedy when Byrne died by gunshot under suspicious conditions. The incident set off a tidal wave of rumors. Some pointed fingers at Harlow's purported lovers, while others questioned the authenticity of her marriage. Undeterred, Harlow maintained a fierce dedication to her craft, delivering unforgettable lines with a sly grin that oozed confidence. She remained a paparazzi magnet, and though she seldom addressed the whispers, the talk of her personal escapades never truly subsided. Unfortunately, her life ended prematurely when she died at just 26, leaving behind a swirl of unanswered questions about her off-screen entanglements. Jean Harlow thus remains an iconic figure, a luminous presence who introduced a bolder brand of female sexuality to Hollywood, forever remembered for both her devilish sparkle and the tantalizing secrets she left behind. Tallulah Bankhead. Tallulah Bankhead was a stage and screen sensation known for her witty tongue and seductive drawl that could charm nearly anyone within earshot. Her performances in productions like The Little Foxes and Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat demonstrated her versatility and knack for gripping audiences. Offstage, Tallulah's exploits kept the rumor mill turning at a dizzying pace. Known for her uninhibited approach to pleasure, she freely confessed to numerous dalliances with both men and women, an audacious stance in an era that favored discretion. Yet Tallulah cared little for conventional judgments, insisting she had the right to indulge her desires. Her parties became legendary for their unbridled decadence, and her acquaintances included fellow luminaries who found her irresistible charm addictive. Tallulah's bohemian spirit set her apart, leaving many enthralled by her blend of glamour and rebellious energy. She was unashamed of her voracious appetite for experience, and famously quipped that she'd sampled everything but incest and folk dancing, a remark that showcased her irreverent wit. Though some found her brash, few denied her intoxicating presence. In a world that often rewarded compliance, Tallulah opted for radical honesty, winning admirers drawn to her heartfelt sincerity. Beneath the bold exterior was also a committed performer, fiercely proud of her craft. Her iconic smoky voice and unrivaled comedic timing made her a unique force in Hollywood and on Broadway. Today, she's remembered as a fearless icon who broke social norms, reminding everyone that authenticity, no matter how scandalous, can be a powerful form of liberation. Ginger Rogers. Ginger Rogers dazzled audiences as the graceful partner of Fred Astaire, the dancing duo whose on-screen magic in classics like Top Hat and Swing Time defined an era. Though her dance moves were impeccable and her comedic timing sharp, Ginger's private life was equally vibrant, marked by multiple marriages and whispers of clandestine trysts with powerful Hollywood figures. Beneath her polished exterior lurked a woman unafraid to explore love on her own terms. While not as openly defiant as some of her contemporaries, Ginger's relationships were frequently dissected by fans eager for details on who might be her new paramour. Her love life included 5 marriages, each of which ended in divorce, fueling chatter about her restless heart. During Hollywood's golden age, rumor had it that Ginger maintained discreet liaisons with influential men who found her warm charm utterly irresistible. Yet even with the swirling gossip, she managed to keep her personal drama relatively low-key, preferring not to feed the frenzied tabloids with explicit details. On set, directors often praised her professionalism, a quality that set her apart from more flamboyant luminaries. She poured passion into her craft, giving audiences glimpses of her vivacity in each breezy twirl and comedic line. Ginger Rogers exemplified a star who gracefully balanced her desire for love with her dedication to the silver screen. Despite multiple romances and breakups, she preserved her legacy as an effervescent talent who could dance circles around her peers, both on the stage and in the unpredictable waltz of Hollywood relationships. Clara Bow, the original It Girl, enthralled the jazz age with her lively spirit and magnetic grin. Rising from a challenging childhood, she broke through the silent film scene with a natural vigor that made her performances unforgettable. Movies like Wings catapulted her to immense popularity, where fans adored her authenticity and sensual appeal. Behind the allure, however, rumors buzzed around her love life. Clara's secretary eventually exposed personal details, unleashing a scandalous set of claims that she'd allegedly romanced everyone from co-stars to entire football teams. Whether those tales were accurate or exaggerated, they cemented her standing as a Hollywood figure whose personal escapades became almost as legendary as her film roles. As the silent era faded and talkies rose, Clara struggled with newfound pressures. Accusations of partying too hard and juggling various lovers amplified her anxieties, contributing to a sense that she was constantly under siege. Hollywood thrived on salacious headlines, and Clara's name lent itself easily to sensational twists. Despite these burdens, she remained a pioneering figure whose on-screen charm was undeniable. Fans found her raw, emotional style refreshing, even as she privately grappled with the whirlwind of excessive attention. Ultimately, her legacy is both a testament to the fleeting glitz of fame and a cautionary tale about the Hollywood machine. Clara Bow remains etched in cinematic history as a vivacious spirit whose vivid portrayal of youth and passion defined the Roaring Twenties, proving that the sweet taste of celebrity can sometimes come at an unrelenting price. Bette Davis. Bette Davis was a cinematic powerhouse, celebrated for her expressive eyes and forthright demeanor, which often imbued her characters with a raw, unapologetic energy. Films like All About Eve and Jezebel showcased her uncanny ability to portray complex women who didn't shy away from ambition or desire. Off-screen, that same fierce spirit spilled into her personal life. Bette navigated multiple marriages, divorces, and rumored flings with a determination that matched her bold roles. Speculation occasionally suggested she leveraged her star status to attract influential men who were drawn to her fiery persona and piercing intellect. Hollywood was fascinated by her daring nature, and Davis sometimes found herself at odds with the stringent studio system. If she wanted a certain part or a specific suitor, she rarely hesitated to speak her mind, no matter whom she might rile in the process. Her personal entanglements made headlines, particularly when tensions flared with colleagues rumored to be lovers off set. Though never as openly salacious as some contemporaries, Bette's romantic life carried an undercurrent of passion and conflict. Indeed, she famously declared independence from limiting roles and stifling relationships alike. Still, it was her unwavering focus on acting that ultimately sealed her place in film history. Fans adored her fearless approach, while gossip columnists relished her abrupt commentary and rumors of backlot dalliances. Bette Davis stood firm as a star who refused to be pigeonholed, forging her own path both in love and in artistry. She left a colossal legacy that transcends mere scandal, reminding viewers that real power lies in a relentless pursuit of what ignites one's soul. Vivien Leigh. Vivien Leigh lit up the screen with elegance and fierce ambition. Her role as the fiery Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind remains an unforgettable display of both vulnerability and resilience, earning her an Academy Award. Yet beyond her polished exterior, Vivien wrestled with profound personal challenges, including mental health issues that complicated her romantic entanglements. Her high-profile marriage to Laurence Olivier, a revered actor himself, was initially the stuff of fairy tales. Two brilliant stars whose chemistry dazzled on and off stage. But behind closed doors, jealousy, professional rivalries, and Vivien's turbulent mental state collided in ways that caused upheaval. Even so, she was rumored to have engaged in clandestine affairs that fueled whispered speculation around Hollywood. Some claim that her restless heart led her to seek comfort in the arms of other lovers whenever her marriage felt stifling. Despite the hearsay, Vivien approached life with a type of delicate tenacity. She was determined not to let heartbreak or gossip overshadow her talent. Roles in films like A Streetcar Named Desire showcased her remarkable range, further cementing her cinematic legend. Leigh's personal journey reveals a woman battling her own demons while striving to maintain a brilliant, if precarious, career. Although her relationships frequently burned with drama, Vivien Leigh's enduring appeal lies in her unwavering commitment to her craft. She remains an emblem of a bygone Hollywood era, where breathtaking artistry was often intertwined with heartbreak, scandal, and the pursuit of fleeting moments of tranquility. Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman, hailed as one of the greatest screen actresses of all time, embodied grace and luminous talent in classics like Casablanca and Notorious. Known for her wholesome image and seemingly unshakable moral compass, she was beloved by audiences who admired her Scandinavian poise. Yet her personal life stunned fans when she embarked on a controversial affair with Italian filmmaker Roberto Rossellini, an affair that generated global headlines. Married at the time, Bergman's decision to leave her husband for Rossellini outraged viewers who had come to see her as the embodiment of virtue. Politicians denounced her, and some outraged Americans even labeled her a powerful influence for evil. Throughout the turmoil, Bergman remained resolute, following her heart even when it meant destroying the pristine persona Hollywood had constructed around her. The scandal nearly derailed her career, but her resilience and unmatched talent eventually paved her return to Hollywood's good graces. Her subsequent marriages and relationships, while less sensational, still carried the aura of a woman determined to be guided by passion rather than societal norms. Ingrid once remarked that she'd rather live a full life with mistakes than a half-life governed by caution. That defiant stance underscored her attitude toward love. She would embrace it wholeheartedly, no matter the public fallout. In the end, Bergman is remembered not only for her iconic roles, but for her personal story of reinvention. Her journey highlights the tension between a star's public image and personal fulfillment, proving that even good girls can, and often do, rebel when it comes to matters of the heart. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford epitomized old-school Hollywood glamour, radiating ambition and sophistication that helped her transition from silent films to talkies with ease. Known for roles in Mildred Pierce and The Women, she cultivated an image of steely elegance that made her both revered and feared. Behind the scenes, however, murmurs persisted that her rise to fame was bolstered by strategic liaisons with influential figures. Often labeled as leveraging the casting couch, Crawford fueled speculation that she charmed producers and moguls to land coveted film roles. Whether founded in fact or inflated by rumor, the whispers painted a picture of a woman unafraid to wield her allure to get ahead. Crawford's personal life was equally dramatic. She was linked to a parade of notable men, including Clark Gable, Spencer Tracy, and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. These connections not only fanned the flames of her reputation, but also kept her name in constant circulation across gossip columns. Marriage did little to quell the speculation, as her unions were often short-lived or riddled with conflict. Still, Joan never publicly cowered from innuendo, determined to stake her place at Hollywood's pinnacle. Studio executives might have tried to control her image, but she remained relentless in her pursuit of stardom. Regarded by many as a shrewd businesswoman, she meticulously honed her public persona while continuing to intrigue behind closed doors. Joan Crawford endures as a symbol of tenacity and self-possession, bold enough to chase success in an industry notorious for devouring its luminaries, and complex enough to leave fans perpetually guessing about the truth beneath her immaculate facade. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was more than just a breathtaking beauty. She was also a brilliant mind who co-invented a frequency hopping system that laid groundwork for modern wireless technology. Yet despite her intellectual gifts, Hollywood largely focused on her exotic allure. First showcased in the controversial film Ecstasy, dubbed one of the most beautiful women to ever grace the silver screen, Hedy attracted a wide range of admirers, including wealthy businessmen, power brokers, and fellow stars. Rumors abounded that behind her regal features and poised demeanor lay a woman unafraid to indulge in high-stakes romance, swiftly moving between partners whenever passion struck. She married 6 times, reflecting a restless heart that seemingly sought both emotional and intellectual connection. Each marriage showcased a new dynamic. Some husbands were supportive of her creativity, while others felt overshadowed by her star power. Whispers of extramarital affairs cropped up regularly in tabloids, fueling an image of Hedy as perpetually searching for fulfillment. Yet for all the hype around her personal liaisons, she consistently strove to be taken seriously for her inventions and intellect. In a business that often reduced actresses to decorative muses, her innovations remained overshadowed until much later. While stories of behind-the-scenes dalliances sometimes overshadowed her achievements, Hedy Lamarr endures as a reminder that starlets were more than their public image. She proved that a woman could be both mesmerizing and innovative, even if her romantic pursuits, real or rumored, seemed to distract Hollywood from fully appreciating her genius. Ultimately, she leaves a legacy that transcends the usual stereotypes associated with scandal. Mae West. Mae West was a force of nature, wielding her wit and unapologetic sexuality to redefine the boundaries of acceptable entertainment. From the moment she strutted onto the stage with her play Sex, which earned her a jail sentence on obscenity charges, she broadcasted an unshakable confidence in her own desires. Hollywood studios initially struggled to tame her brazen persona, yet moviegoers adored her comedic timing, double entendre, and bold sense of self. Films like She Done Him Wrong showcased Mae's deliciously cheeky approach to challenging conventions, particularly those surrounding female sexuality. Outside of her theatrical exploits, Mae was rumored to have enjoyed many lovers, including boxers, actors, and other men drawn to her luminous blend of humor and seductiveness. She famously quipped, "Marriage is a fine institution, but I'm not ready for an institution," revealing her aversion to traditional constraints. Tales circulated of her involvement with big names, but she rarely addressed them, preferring to preserve a mystique that kept audiences enthralled. Whether the gossip was real or amplified, her flamboyant persona made it easy for stories to stick. At a time when women were cautioned to preserve modesty, she flipped that script and constructed her entire brand around audacious self-expression. Even now, Mae West stands as a beacon of independence, someone who refused to apologize for enjoying life to the fullest. She reigned as a comedic and sexual pioneer, ensuring that her presence in Hollywood would reverberate through generations, proving that scandal can sometimes be the cornerstone of a lasting legacy. Lupe Velez. Lupe Velez burst onto the Hollywood scene with an energetic flair that earned her the nickname the Mexican Spitfire. Born in Mexico, she charted a triumphant path in silent films before transitioning successfully to talkies, charming audiences with her spirited comedic talent and expressive eyes. Yet her personal life was equally legendary for passionate and often explosive relationships. Known for her tempestuous personality, Lupe rarely held back. If she loved you, she would declare it from the rooftops. If she was angry, you'd feel the full brunt of her fury. Though the tabloids painted her as hot-tempered, they were simultaneously entranced by her relentless pursuit of romance. Lupe's love affairs were high-profile and tumultuous, featuring personalities like Gary Cooper and Johnny Weissmuller. She married Weissmuller, Hollywood's Tarzan, but their relationship often erupted into public spats and reconciliations that fed the gossip circuit. Rumors suggested she left a trail of heartbreak among other lovers, mostly men who couldn't resist her fiery magnetism. In addition to official relationships, quiet murmurs implied she carried on multiple secret flings, an allegation that only intensified her provocative image. Despite the drama, Velez remained a formidable comedic talent, whose comedic timing was overshadowed by the sensational press coverage of her romantic escapades. In a landscape that demanded docile femininity, Lupe Velez embraced her fierce spirit, captivating onlookers even in her darkest moments. Tragically, she died young, leaving a swirl of rumors surrounding her final hours. Her legacy endures as the daring Latina actress who brought laughter, excitement, and a whirlwind of amorous pursuits to the golden age of Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe remains one of the most recognizable faces on the planet, her radiant smile masking a depth of vulnerability seldom glimpsed by the public. She skyrocketed to fame with roles in Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, becoming the quintessential blonde bombshell of the 1950s. Yet whispers about her private affairs soon took center stage. Rumors of entanglements with powerful men, most notoriously baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, playwright Arthur Miller, and possibly even President John F. Kennedy, propelled her image as a woman whose allure no man could ignore. However, behind those breathless headlines was an individual wrestling with mental health struggles and an insatiable desire for genuine love. Despite capturing the adoration of countless fans worldwide, Marilyn's heart remained fragile and uncertain. Her marriages often ended in heartbreak, leaving her feeling isolated in a world that saw her merely as a symbol of glamour. She yearned for validation and empathy, confiding her hopes to close friends and diaries rather than the tabloids that thirsted for salacious headlines. Many remain convinced that her rumored dalliance with the Kennedy family represented a dangerous intersection of Hollywood glitz and political power. While speculation around her private life lingers, Marilyn's enduring grace and comedic finesse overshadow the messy controversies. Ultimately, she is remembered not just for her mesmerizing smile, but for her delicate humanity lurking beneath the spotlight. Marilyn Monroe's story underscores the poignant truth that the greatest stars often shine brightest just before they fade, leaving behind haunting questions that only deepen their legend. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was dubbed the Divine for her ethereal beauty and haunting presence, personifying mystique throughout Hollywood's golden age. She famously declared, "I want to be alone," a phrase that became a cultural catchphrase reflecting her guarded persona. While the world perceived her as an enigmatic recluse, rumors swirled of an active private life brimming with covert relationships. From alleged romances with fellow screen sirens to whispered affairs with powerful magnates, Garbo's behind-the-scenes story was as intriguing as her silver screen allure. Though some claimed she was withdrawn and disinterested in personal attachments, others hinted she maintained secret, intense liaisons that tested traditional boundaries. Her closeness with playwright Mercedes de Acosta fueled extensive speculation, suggesting an intimate bond hidden from public scrutiny. Garbo's refusal to marry or publicly acknowledge relationships only fanned the flames. Despite her near-mythic status, she never offered explanations, choosing instead to vanish from Hollywood at the height of her fame. This elusiveness did nothing to discourage rumor. It only enhanced the idea that her sensual side was equally as captivating as her on-screen glamour. Retreating into seclusion in New York, Garbo carried her secrets with her until her final days. Even now, film historians and fans parse through diaries, letters, and recollections to piece together the puzzle of her private affairs. In the end, Greta Garbo's legacy stands as a testament to the power of mystery. She proved that sometimes a whisper of rumor can outlast the loudest confessions, preserving her as an icon whose true emotional contours remain tantalizingly elusive. Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich combined German elegance with a sultry androgyny that left Hollywood enthralled. Memorable in films like The Blue Angel and Morocco, she reveled in bending gender norms, sporting tailored suits and exuding an unconventional allure that mesmerized audiences. Off-screen, she cultivated a network of admirers that included some of the era's most influential men. Whispers credited her with an affair involving writer Ernest Hemingway, who was rumored to be so besotted that he wove glimpses of her into his literary musings. Marlene's daring style and fearless persona invited other passionate entanglements, among them rumored liaisons with Gary Cooper and John Gilbert. But Dietrich's complex appeal transcended her personal romances. She was a staunch anti-Nazi advocate, dedicating time and resources to support Allied troops during World War II, a move that showcased her moral depth. Her love life, while dynamic, remained cloaked in sophistication. She famously said she dressed for herself, not to attract a man, underscoring her independence. Whether performing for soldiers at the front lines or crooning on the silver screen, Dietrich displayed a well-honed charisma that few could resist. Although gossip columnists vigorously tried to untangle her many rumored affairs, she consistently sidestepped explicit confirmations, preferring to maintain her aura of mystery. In a time when Hollywood insisted on typecasting female stars, Marlene Dietrich shattered expectations, earning reverence as a worldly, iconic figure. Decades later, her name remains synonymous with style, bravery, and an intoxicating sense of secretive allure, a testament to the potent intersection of glamour and enigma in old Hollywood.